What happens when you build something from scratch and then realize you don't even know what it feels like to work in it anymore? That question hit Jordan Ellis hard one night as he sat in his quiet office, long after everyone had left. His restaurant chain had grown to 14 locations over the past 12 years. It started with a single burger joint in a small town, and now it was a full-service casual dining concept across the state. He'd done well real estate, branding, franchising deals, but somewhere along the way, he stopped walking into his restaurants as a worker. He started noticing a shift. More customer complaints than usual, more turnover, and recently, a customer review that said, the food was fine, but the staff looked miserable. That one stuck. Jordan had never met most of his newer employees. He was the face of the company in the press, sure, but the average server wouldn't recognize him. Especially now with the beard, the dyed brown hair, the glasses, and the $40 thrift store work boots. Corporate uniforms were standardized. Name tags were printed out from head office. He'd blend in just fine. He picked location number 9, a busy spot in a mid-sized city about an hour from headquarters. He chose it randomly. No complaints had come from there recently, but it was one of the top-performing stores. He wanted to see what good looked like from the inside. He applied as a new back-of-house hire. Elliot Johns. That was the name on his badge. They were short on front-of-house workers, though, and the store manager said they needed him to train as a food runner and server's assistant for the first week. Fine by me, Jordan said. I'm just looking to learn. He was never recognized, not once. Which made sense. The manager, Todd, had never met him personally. Jordan had only done Zoom calls with district managers over the past 2 years. Plus, Todd wasn't hired directly by him. He came in after a previous manager transferred out. By day 3, Jordan had a pretty good feel for the place. It was fast-paced, busy, and the kitchen was tight but ran well. The servers, that was different. Stress was high, tips were unpredictable, and Jordan noticed something strange. Almost all the servers avoided going to Todd for help. Hey, why don't folks ever ask Todd for stuff? Jordan asked a line cook during a lull. The guy, a tall man named Quincy, just raised an eyebrow. You'll see. Keep your head down, bro. Jordan didn't press. He was there to observe, not stir things up yet. That afternoon, a server named Lacey came in for the evening shift. She was young, maybe mid-20s, short curly hair pulled into a bun, and greeted everyone with a soft smile. She seemed quiet but hardworking. She handled 3 tables and stayed polite the entire time, even when one table kept sending back their drinks. Then came table 9. A man in a suit, mid-50s, already looked annoyed when Lacey walked over. Jordan was cleaning menus near the front when he saw the man snap his fingers at her. She kept her cool. Hi there, my name is Lacey. I've been waiting 10 minutes, the man snapped. Are you new? Because you're already terrible at this. I'm so sorry, sir. We're just a little short-staffed tonight, not my problem. I want a steak, medium rare. And if it's not perfect, I swear to God. Jordan watched as Lacey nodded and stepped back, trying to hold it together. Her hand shook slightly as she wrote down the order. She turned and walked toward the POS station. Her eyes were red. Jordan followed her back, pretending to grab silverware from the shelf nearby. She stopped near the breakroom door and leaned her head against the wall. She wiped her face. Then again. He was about to say something when Todd walked by. Lacey, Todd said, voice flat. You crying? She quickly looked away. No, I'm fine. You're not fine. You know what? Take 5 minutes, but don't make it a habit. You're not the only one with hard tables. Lacey didn't say anything. She just nodded and walked into the break room. Jordan stood frozen for a second. That was it. No check-in, no support. Todd turned to him. New guy, why are you standing around? Jordan grabbed the silverware and muttered, just restocking. The next few hours ran on autopilot. Jordan couldn't stop thinking about what he saw. Not the customer yelling. He'd seen difficult customers before, but the way Todd responded, like it was nothing. Like she was the problem for not handling it better. He saw Lacey return to the floor. She didn't say much. Just worked through her tables, smiling when needed and ducking out as soon as her shift ended. Jordan clocked out a few minutes later, stomach tight. He sat in his car in the dark parking lot for a long while. The heater hummed. His hands were still a little cold. He'd built this company to be different, to be better. But right now, this place felt like any other chain that chewed people up and ran them dry. Something was off, something real. And tomorrow he was going to start asking questions. The next morning, Jordan arrived early, well before the first lunch shift. The dining room lights were still off, chairs were on tables, and the smell of industrial cleaner lingered faintly in the air. He walked through the back door using the employee code, changed into his uniform, and started restocking the server station without being told. He wanted to watch the place wake up. Todd came in 15 minutes later, coffee in hand, Bluetooth earpiece already in. He didn't say good morning to anyone, just walked straight to the office, door shutting behind him. By 11, the staff began trickling in. No one looked particularly energized, but no one seemed surprised either. Just another day. A prep cook dropped 2 heavy boxes of produce on the kitchen floor, rubbing his shoulder after. No one offered help. Servers glanced at their assigned sections, then at each other, quietly switching 1 or 2 to balance the crowd without saying anything aloud. Jordan caught onto the unspoken rhythm. People were tired, but they adapted. They covered each other, moved quickly, avoided attention. It wasn't chaos, it was a quiet kind of survival. During the lunch shift, Jordan was assigned to food running again. Around 12:30, the dining area got slammed. A large table of 11 came in without a reservation, and the hostess, a nervous teen named Mia, looked completely overwhelmed. She tried to rearrange 2 tables to fit the group, but a man in the party started barking at her about the wait. Jordan stepped in beside her and helped move chairs. Mia gave him a quick look of relief but didn't speak. When she went to the back to grab more menus, Todd came out of the office, looked at the large table, and frowned. "Why the hell did we seat that?" he asked no one in particular. Jordan kept his voice low. "We didn't have a choice, they wouldn't leave." "Then you tell them it's a 45-minute wait and let them rage in the parking lot. We're not a damn banquet hall. But they're here now. Should we get another server to help?" Todd didn't answer. He turned, walked back toward the kitchen, and disappeared. Jordan helped Mia seat the table, poured water, and made sure the server covering that section had backup. It was Lacey. She moved efficiently, but her jaw was clenched the whole time. Her pen slipped from behind her ear twice. When she reached the end of the table, one of the guests, a middle-aged man with a gold watch and loud voice, leaned back and said, "You're cute. Can you bring the drinks a little faster, though? My throat's drier than your personality." Lacey didn't flinch. "I'll get them right out for you." As she walked past Jordan, he caught her eye for a second. She didn't say anything, but her shoulders were tense and her knuckles were pale around the tray. After the rush, Jordan found her near the ice machine, filling cups for a to-go order. He kept his tone casual. That big table was rough. She didn't look up. They were fine. No, they weren't. She paused for maybe half a second, then kept scooping ice. "I've had worse. You just keep your head down." "Is that what you're supposed to do here?" She finally looked at him. "It's not about here, it's just how it is." Before he could respond, Todd's voice cut in from behind. "New guy, you done chatting or you want to make yourself useful?" Jordan turned. "Just helping with the to-go order." "Then help faster." As Todd walked off, Jordan noticed him glance at Lacey. Not just a glance, a slow look. Top to bottom, Lacey stiffened, Jordan's gut tightened. Later that afternoon, during shift change, Jordan found Quincy outside near the dumpsters, smoking quietly. He leaned against the brick wall, one boot up on the edge of the loading dock. The kitchen's back door was propped open. "You got a second?" Jordan asked. Quincy nodded once. "That table earlier, the big one, did you see how Todd handled it?" "Handled it." Quincy took a slow drag. "Todd doesn't handle anything. He waits until something goes sideways, then blames whoever's closest." Jordan leaned against the wall beside him. "Has he always been like that?" Quincy shrugged. Depends who you ask. Some people think he's just strict, others call it something else, like what? Lazy, cruel, creepy. Jordan turned his head. Creepy. Quincy didn't answer right away. You saw how he looked at Lacey? I did. He does that a lot, watches her when she doesn't know, makes comments when no one else is around. She told me once he grabbed her arm when she tried to leave early after a double, said she needed to finish what she started. Jordan's jaw clenched. Did she report it? To who? HR, that's a black hole. You file something, they say they'll look into it, then 2 weeks later you're not on the schedule. People notice that. Jordan's voice dropped. Anyone else experienced it? Yeah, Mia, hostess. She's been here 2 months. Todd told her to put on something tighter for a weekend shift. She laughed it off. Next week she got dropped to 1 shift, said she wasn't smiling enough. Jordan felt his hands curl into fists. Why hasn't anyone gone higher? Quincy exhaled slowly. Because no one up there ever shows up. They don't know or they don't want to. Jordan didn't speak for a long time. The wind moved trash across the pavement. Somewhere inside, a pan clattered. That night after close, Jordan waited until the last server left. Then he walked into the office. Todd was at the desk scrolling through something on his phone. Got a second? Jordan asked, standing in the doorway. Todd looked up annoyed. Why are you still here? I wanted to talk. About what? I've seen how you treat people here. Todd leaned back in his chair. You got a problem with how I run my store. Jordan stepped inside and shut the door. You don't run anything, you hide in here. You let your staff drown, you make them feel small, and worse, you cross lines that should never be crossed. Todd stood slowly. Who the hell do you think you are? Jordan pulled off the glasses, then the hat, then the name tag. I'm Jordan Ellis, he said, voice steady. I own this company. Todd's face drained of color. You're done here, Jordan said, effective immediately. You can't just, I just did. Security will escort you out in 5 minutes. HR's already notified. You'll be contacted about exit procedures. Any attempt to contact staff directly will result in legal action. Todd's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Jordan turned and left the office, heart pounding. He walked through the now empty dining room, past the bar, past the kitchen where Quincy was wiping down the last of the counters. He gave Jordan a look, questioning, cautious. Jordan nodded once. Outside, the night was cold. He pulled out his phone and made the first of several calls. Tomorrow, everything would change. Not just at this location, but across the board. Because if this could happen in one of the best stores, then the problem wasn't isolated, it was systemic, and it was on him to fix it. By the time the sun rose the next morning, Jordan had already met with 2 senior HR directors and his legal counsel. There was no hesitation. The investigation into Todd's conduct would proceed immediately, but Jordan wasn't waiting for paperwork. As far as he was concerned, the man was already gone. Temporary leadership would be installed later that day, and Jordan would be staying on site to oversee it himself this time. No disguise, no alias. He arrived at the restaurant 30 minutes before opening, dressed in a worn gray pullover and jeans. The staff hadn't been told yet. The assistant manager, Mara, was already there, unlocking the supply room when he walked in. She froze mid-turn when she saw him. Morning, Jordan said. Can we talk inside? She blinked. You're Jordan Ellis? I am. Mara stepped back, clearly scrambling to reset her tone. Of course, yes, come in. He followed her into the small office, its overhead light buzzing faintly. A clipboard with shift schedules rested on the desk. A half-empty bottle of antacid sat beside it. I'll get right to it, Jordan said. Todd's no longer with the company. Her shoulders dropped. It's about time. You knew. I didn't see everything, but I heard enough. I filed a complaint once. Months ago. Nothing came of it. Jordan kept his voice even. That's going to change. Immediately, she nodded, but her face didn't show relief, just exhaustion. I'm not here to play hero, he said, but I need your help cleaning this up. I need to know what's been happening day to day. She sat, finally, rubbing her temples. You're sitting on a pressure cooker. Half the staff only shows up because they need the paycheck. The other half is halfway out the door. People cover for each other quietly because if they don't, things fall apart. There's no backup. No one listens when we ask for support. And Todd, he made sure no one trusted anyone above him. Jordan leaned against the wall. How many people have we lost in the past 3 months? 7. All front of house, 3 left mid-shift, he exhaled. What would you change first if you could? Give people room to speak without fear and staff more. We're running lean, everyday double shifts are the norm now. People can't breathe. All right, Jordan said. I'll be here all week and beyond if needed. I'm not stepping out again until this place is safe to work in. She hesitated. Do they know who you are yet? Not yet. Within an hour, the staff began arriving. Jordan stood near the front entrance as they filtered in, watching their reactions. Quincy gave him a slow nod but said nothing. Mia paused when she saw him, gripping her apron a little tighter. Lacey didn't look up at all, her eyes fixed on the floor as she walked past. Once they were all inside, Jordan stepped into the center of the dining room. I know I'm not what you expected to see this morning, he began. My name is Jordan Ellis. I started this company 12 years ago and I've been away from the ground level for too long. That changes now. A few glances exchanged across the room. Mia tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. No one spoke. Some of you have experienced things here that never should have happened. That's on me. Not just because I own this company, but because I didn't come sooner. Lacey finally looked up just once, her expression unreadable. I'm here now. I'll be working alongside you this week and I'll be listening. If you've got something to say, you'll be heard. There will be no retaliation. If anyone tries, they're gone. No warnings. Still silence. Then Mara stepped forward. He's serious, she said, voice firm. I've already spoken with him this morning. That helped. Shoulders relaxed slightly. A few murmured acknowledgments passed around. Quincy gave a quiet cool under his breath. The shift began and Jordan moved quickly, refilling waters, wiping tables, running plates. He didn't try to lead. He just kept pace and stayed visible. Mid-shift, he caught up with Lacey by the soda machine. She was refilling a glass, her movements practiced and quiet. Hey, he said. She didn't stop working. Hi, I owe you an apology. You never should have been put in that position. You didn't do it. But I let someone else create the kind of place where it could happen. She paused. I didn't think anyone cared. I didn't know, now I do. She finally met his eyes. He used to ask me to stay late and help with reports. There were no reports. Jordan's chest tightened. That stops now, permanently? She nodded once, just slightly, and went back to the floor. By afternoon, things were moving differently. Mara had started rotating server sections more equitably, and Jordan authorized overtime pay for those who had been covering extra shifts. He called in 2 employees from nearby locations to help through the weekend. No one objected. In the evening, Mia approached him near the host stand. Can I ask something? Of course. Are you really staying all week? Longer if I need to. Why? She hesitated. Todd, he told me I'd lose shifts if I didn't wear more makeup and tighter skirts. I didn't know who to tell. You just did. She looked like she wanted to say more but stopped herself. You're safe now, he said quietly, and you'll never have to deal with that again. She nodded and turned back to the door as new guests arrived. Later that night, after close, Jordan gathered the remaining staff near the bar. A few were already half out of their uniforms, jackets slung over chairs, cleaning rags tossed into bins. I want to thank you all for getting through today, he said. I know it wasn't easy. But it's the first of many changes. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, and we'll keep building from here. Someone clapped once, then another, not loud or forced but genuine. Quincy looked over. You're not like the others. I've got a lot to prove, Jordan said. And I'm starting now. Mara handed him a copy of the next day's schedule. We're still light Thursday. You want to jump back on runner, he smiled. Put me wherever you need me. The lights dimmed as the team filed out. One by one, they left the building. Jordan stayed behind, wiping the last 2 tables on the far wall. His phone buzzed with a message from corporate. HR had already begun interviews. A full audit of management practices across all locations was underway. he stepped outside into the cold, locking up behind him. Across the parking lot, he saw Lacey walking toward her car. She glanced back once, just briefly. He raised a hand. She hesitated, then returned the gesture. It wasn't trust. Not yet. But it was a start. By Thursday morning, word had spread across all 14 locations. Employees from other stores were texting each other, quietly verifying the rumors. Jordan Ellis was working shoulder to shoulder with staff at one of his own restaurants. No assistant, no entourage, just him in a gray pullover, running food and mopping floors. At Store 9, the atmosphere had shifted. It wasn't relaxed, no one was pretending years of systemic issues had vanished in 2 days, but there was a new kind of alertness. Conversations were sharper, postures a little straighter. Not out of fear, but because someone was finally watching who could actually change things. Jordan arrived early again, greeted Mara with a short nod, signed in, and went straight to the prep line. He didn't give speeches. He just started working. By mid-morning, a corporate HR representative arrived to conduct on-site interviews. Her name was Evelyn Cho's sharp voice, no-nonsense demeanor, and she immediately took over the office Todd once commandeered. One by one, employees were called in. No one was forced, but everyone went. Jordan stayed out of it. He kept clearing dishes, checking in with the kitchen, and watching how things ran when no one thought they were being scrutinized. And what he saw confirmed the scale of the repair work ahead. At the server station, Mia stood with a new hostess, a young woman named Candace just hired 2 days earlier. Jordan overheard their exchange as he refilled a rack of glasses. "You don't have to wear heels," Mia said, voice low but clear. "That was something Todd pushed. You can wear flats. Or sneakers, whatever's safe." Candace looked surprised. "Seriously, seriously." Jordan carried the tray to the bar and made a mental note, update the appearance policy, immediately, safety first, dignity always. Later that day, a new assistant general manager arrived from another store, Devon, mid-30s, calm under pressure, and already known for stabilizing underperforming locations. Jordan had only met him once, years ago, but remembered his name from a string of positive reviews in quarterly audits. They shook hands briefly in the back hallway. "Glad you could come on short notice," Jordan said. "I heard the situation," Devon replied. "I'm here as long as it takes." That afternoon, Devon quietly pulled Lacey aside after her shift ended. Jordan noticed from across the dining room Devon didn't raise his voice, didn't corner her. Just spoke with the door open, hands at his sides, eyes steady. Lacey nodded a few times, then walked out through the front, her steps relaxed in a way Jordan hadn't seen all week. The last table left just before 9. Jordan helped Quincy wipe down the grill hood, both of them too tired for much conversation. The air in the kitchen was thick with grease and silence. Then Quincy finally said something. "You know, it's weird." Jordan kept wiping. "What is?" Having someone from corporate actually still here. Most folks would have shown up, made a speech, and ducked out. Jordan didn't look up. "That's probably why things got this bad." Quincy nodded once, then tossed his rag into the bin. "You staying tomorrow? I'll be here." He didn't need to say more. The next morning brought a new kind of tension. Evelyn had finished interviews, and now she was conducting reviews of past staff exits, people who had quit suddenly or were removed without cause. Jordan sat with her in the office mid-morning, reviewing files on a shared screen. 3 former servers all cited toxic management when they left, Evelyn said. 2 mentioned inappropriate comments, none were followed up on. Jordan leaned back in the chair. "We have contact info. I already reached out. One of them, a woman named Aria, agreed to speak. She's on the phone now." Evelyn handed over the receiver without ceremony. "Hi, Aria, this is Jordan Ellis." A pause. "You're the CEO?" she asked, cautious. "Yes." "I'm calling because I want to hear what happened from you directly, if you're willing." There was a wait on the line, then a quiet breath. "I worked there for 11 months. I loved my coworkers, but Todd, he made it impossible. He'd make comments about my tattoos. Said they made me look unprofessional and cheap. I kept covering shifts, working doubles, but when I asked for time off for my grandmother's funeral, he told me I didn't have the tenure to warrant special treatment. Jordan didn't interrupt. When I pushed back, I got cut from the schedule. No warning, just nothing. I called HR, got a form email 2 weeks later. That was it. I'm sorry, Jordan said. That should never have happened, and I can't undo that, but I can make sure it never happens again. There was a pause, then a quiet, okay. After the call, Evelyn looked at him. We're going to need a full policy audit, not just here, everywhere. Jordan nodded once. We'll do it. By noon, Devon had started implementing new scheduling procedures. No more consecutive doubles. No more dangling shifts over anyone's head. Staff availability was to be respected. Jordan approved budget increases to allow part-time hires to cover peak hours. That evening, just before close, Lacey approached Jordan at the back sink. Her apron was folded under one arm. I heard what you did, she said. With the call, he nodded. You didn't have to do that. I did. She was quiet for a moment. I used to think this place was just like everywhere else, that no one cared. He put down the towel he was holding. It was, but it won't be anymore. She studied him for a second. You're not what I expected. Neither are you. That night, after the doors locked, Jordan gathered the team one last time, not for a speech but for a conversation. We're not fixed, he said. Not yet, but we're starting something better, and that only works if you keep holding me accountable. If you speak up, if you demand better. Mara glanced around the room. We will. Jordan looked at each person in turn, Quincy with his arms folded but a small nod of approval, Mia standing beside Candace, both looking more grounded than they had days ago. Lacey, arms at her sides, no longer shrinking into herself. Starting next week, Jordan said, we're launching a new feedback system. Anonymous, direct, and reviewed weekly by me and HR, you'll have a voice, and it will be heard. He didn't stay for applause. There wasn't any, just a quiet agreement in the air, something solid and earned. As the team trickled out, Jordan stayed behind, standing at the host stand, watching the lights dim across the dining room. Devon passed by on his way out, giving a brief nod. You'll be back, he asked. I'll be around, Jordan said. Different stores, same work. Devon paused. They'll talk. Staff at other locations. They'll start asking questions. Good, let them. Outside, the lot was empty again. The wind had picked up, rustling wrappers across the curb. A single light flickered over the back door. Jordan walked to his car, unlocked it, and sat in the driver's seat with both hands on the wheel. He hadn't saved the company. Not in a week. But he had cracked something open, something that wouldn't close again, not quietly. He'd seen the real cost of silence. And he wasn't going to forget it. Not this time.